Okay, I'm going to do a story on the Ferguson Police Department deploys the untested, less lethal handgun attachment, and I'm going to explain why this thing is theoretically not going to work as planned. Before I start, though, I'm going to apologize in advance for the lag between the video and my commentary because there is a slight delay. So a lot of my commentary may not coincide with the points I'm trying to make within the video itself. So just try and bear with me. But let's play the video, and I hope you can hear the audio on it. And we'll see how they explain how it's supposed to work. And then I'll break down why it's not going to work as they claim it will. Okay, so let's watch the video, and hopefully you can hear it. Okay, so there you have a demonstration of the how they claim it's supposed to work. And let's go through it again, and hopefully I can pause it and commentary will line up with the video. And I'll explain why it's not going to work as they claim. Okay, so I'm going to pause this several times and go through what I have to say about it. Okay, so this is a Glock 9mm pistol, standard issue with a lot of police departments. It fires a 9mm cartridge, and we'll see that in a second here.
The alternative within seconds is easily mounted to the top of the weapon. There is no obstruction to the sight picture for the operator, and there's no obstruction to the functionality of the weapon or the rail system. It still allows an officer the ability to attach a flashlight on their weapon. Once the weapon is fired.
Okay, so here you have a standard 9mm projectile with the 9mm bullet. Usually they use a 115 grain bullet. The bullet itself is 0.355 in diameter. Okay, this attachment, however, is about the size of a golf ball, it looks like, and I'd say roughly it's probably around 75 caliber if you're going to judge it, compare it to the old musket style balls that the old black powder days they used to use back in the old 1800s was the old black powder musket balls. And so they're claiming this slug is going to enter this this musket style a plastic ball here, and somehow that's going to stop the bullet from entering the target. Well, the 9mm 115 grain slug, and even the heavier slugs, even if it's 147 grain, the 115 grains leave the barrel around 1,500 feet per second. The heavier ones are around 1,200 feet per second, somewhere around there. And anyways, if they believe that this little plastic thing is going to stop a bullet traveling at that speed from entering the target, they're quite delusional. Okay, but let's continue on. Okay, so they say it's going to embed itself within the projectile. Now it's either going to penetrate this plastic ball and continue onward, or it's going to take this ball with it, and it's going to act like a massive musket ball when it hits the target, and have a projectile within a projectile. Okay, and let's continue onward. Okay, so theoretically they're saying that the bullet is going to be encased within this musket-style plastic ball, and it's going to continue to travel onward towards the target. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so it's claiming that when it hits the target, it's going to send a shock wave, but not cause any entrance wound. And it's basically going to bounce off the target. And I find that to be completely utter bullshit. Because, as I say, with that type of velocity behind it, it's either going to this plastic part of the ball is either going to shatter, or it's going to act as a projectile itself with the full velocity of the 9mm behind it, encased within it, or whatever the case may be. The bullet, either the musket ball and the bullet within it, or the bullet itself, if the plastic, say, breaks upon impact, it will probably cause like a shattering effect, sending multiple projectiles into the target. In either case, the original 9mm slug within that musket-style plastic ball will continue onward towards the target. It itself will not stop. It will continue onward into the target. So you're either going to have the plastic ball penetrate the target itself, which would cause massive, massive entrance wound and a massive wound channel. Okay? Or the 9mm slug itself will continue onwards inside the target and cause the typical 9mm entrance wound and typical wound channels that your average 9mm would normally cause within soft human tissue. Okay, so I don't believe it. Let's go on to this simulation, and I'm going to explain why this is dangerous for police officers, for their safety, and why this thing is not going to act as they claim. Okay, so let's watch this again. Okay, so if this thing's in sync with my conversation, which I'm hoping it is, but it probably won't be, because I said I believe there probably will be some lag here, but bear with me, please, as I explain this. Okay, so in the simulation it has an animation of an officer walking with a Glock pistol in hand, walking towards a building, and let's watch and see what happens here. Okay, so you hear an unarmed hostage screaming, female subject. Okay, she's probably running under the building, fearing for her life, I just assumed that for argument's sake in this video. Okay. Okay, next we have an armed gunman. He's already got his pistol pointed at the officer. At this point, the officer is justified in shooting. Okay. The officer's life is definitely in threat. And, yep, definitely 2 shots to the torso, 1 to the head in this case. And let's continue onward. Okay, so the next target is a masked man with holding a knife. Okay, he's exiting the building. Let's assume he's running towards the officer. In this case, it's been proven that within 20 feet or so, a person with a knife. Okay, so it's been proven from 20 feet or so, a person with a knife can probably reach the officer and stab the officer before the officer can draw his weapon. Okay, and there's demonstrations of this on YouTube regarding officer safety. You can Google them and check them out for yourself. But anyways, they're claiming in this video that the officer would have time to place this attachment on his weapon while the suspect is advancing towards him. I find that totally dangerous. I find it ridiculous. And I find it extremely dangerous to the officer's safety. In such a situation, if somebody's armed, whether it's a gun, whether it's a knife, whether it's a baseball bat, they're bent on doing extreme danger, extreme harm to the officer, as they would call it, grievous bodily harm, or even death, because you don't know the intention of the person who's armed. So in this case, they're advancing towards, in this demonstration anyway, they're advancing towards the officer with a knife. Okay. In reality, this would probably be at a very rapid speed. Okay. The subject would probably be running towards the officer. I highly doubt there's any way in hell that the officer would be able to get this attachment on his weapon and fire it. Okay. And why would you? In this case, you're justified in using lethal force. So why would you use lethal force in this case? Anytime a suspect's armed with a weapon, the officer is justified in using lethal force. Okay? No debate. End of story. That's the law. Okay? So this is all due to political correctness, political bullshit, and the politicians who are creating this garbage. Put yourself in the officer's shoes, and I dare you to do a demonstration like this. Participate in one. Get an officer to use a rubber knife, and have them come at you from 20 feet away or so. And use a plastic pistol, and see if you can get it out of the holster and pull the trigger before the suspect can reach you. And you'll see for yourself why this is dangerous to officer safety. Okay? Anyways, as I say, sorry for the lag in the video. That doesn't coincide with the commentary, but for those who doubt what I've said, excuse me, please feel free to go ahead and do your own video, and by all means prove me wrong if you can, because I'd love to watch a rebuttal to what I've said here. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and feel free to leave your comments below. Okay. Ciao for now.